Hi ladies, welcome back to Let's Play. This is card 19 in the series. Today we are going to learn how to make little feathers out of toothpicks and paper, how to do a little bit of inking on your page, and we are going to be coloring your texture paste with a little bit of ink. Alright, let's play. Today we are going to use, I've used a black card, but you can use any color. It's only going to stick out on the sides. So very first thing that we are going to do is we're going to prep our card, and we are going to take our Mod, just normal Mod, and we are going to back in, cover the entire card with your thin layer of Mod, and you can stick your tissue paper on top of it. Again, we are using pattern paper from tracing paper from sewing to do this. All right, so that we have done, we can just give it a quick once over just to heat it, just to help it go along quickly. And then once this is done, we are then going to move on to some dictionary paper. I'm just going to quickly just cut off these edges. You can tear them off. I prefer to cut. It's totally up to you. Do it when it's dry though. When it's wet, it becomes a little bit icky to try and cut all the edges off. It doesn't have to be 100% neat. There we go. So you can see your numbers still stick through, and you've just got that little bit of pattern to hide the edges. All right, next thing we're going to do is use a little bit of book paper. I'm using my tiny dictionary that I've got. You can use anything that you want. This I got at a secondhand bookstore, so it was quite cute for the cards. First thing we're going to do is we're going to use our card, and we are going to cut our paper down to card size. Reason being, this is going to basically cover your card, and we want to make sure it doesn't overlap too much. Does not have to be perfect. Alrighty, once that is done, we are going to apply a bit of distress ink. Any ink you've got is fine, just to tone it down. I don't want it to be white, so what I'm doing is I'm just going over it lightly with some walnut stain. Alright, once we've done that, I'm then going to use my ground espresso, which is a darker brown. Again, you can use what colors you want. I am applying this to a piece of plastic, and then I'm taking normal mixed media texture paste, or whatever texture paste you've got in your stash, and just a little bit, not too much. You are going to mix it with your ink. And what you'll see it does is it actually colors your texture paste so that you no longer have this white texture paste. Now this works really well with any of your inks. So it doesn't have to be distress inks, it can be any. Alright, today I'm using a Tim Holtz stencil. And I'm just going at an angle across my background paper. As I mentioned, you don't need too much. All right, and if we peel that off, alrighty, there we go. So you can see now it gives you a nice light brown finish on your from your stencil. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this, it's not that easy to try, so I'm just going to quickly give it a once over just to make it a little bit drier. Sorry for all the drying time, I know it's a pain. While I'm busy doing this, what you can do so long is you need to now go and find some toothpicks. So go and dig in your kitchen for your toothpicks or some society sticks. Toothpicks are better because your cards are quite tiny unless you're working with the large cards. So we are going to take your toothpicks, and then we need some pattern paper. Alright, there we go. So that is touch dry. Perfect. What we are going to do now is we're going to take our background card, and again with Podge, we are going to apply. Please do not apply in the top and bottom corner where the numbers are, because we need those to be sticking out. All right, so we are just lightly going to put your podge diagonally across your card. We are then going to take our texture pasted word page and, oh goodness, that wasn't meant to happen. Taking a toothpick, I want you to grab a corner, all right, and we are going to lightly hook it in and roll it. Okay, we want to have a rolled corner. Okay, and this side we want to have a rolled corner as well. Okay, there we go, that one's hooked in nicely. Okay, so it gives you a nice roll there. And again on the other side, try and get it to hook in. This one, there we go. Okay, so now we've got a nice hooked corner on both sides, and that we are now going to lightly dab onto your background card. All right, so there we go, that is your base done. I am now going to take my ground espresso again, but before I do that, I want to just quickly show you. This is a nice way to add a little bit of texture to your photo mats. I call it ninking. So what you do is you nick it and then you ink it. All right, so literally you are just going to cut tiny little gaps at random. If you can look there. Okay, out of your sides of your card. All right, so what this does is it makes your paper look a bit old and a little bit fragile, which is what we are aiming for. So I'm just going to take my ground espresso and I just want to go around the card. Oh, sorry, I keep hitting the light. Okay, I'm just going around the card. There we go. And that is your base card done. It's got a nice curled edge on each side, a little bit of ink, and your wording. Alrighty, once that is done, I can now move all of this out the way. We've finished with most of the mess. We are then going to take a toothpick. I'm going to make 2 feathers for my page, or for my card. And what we're going to do is you're going to find some scrap pattern paper in your stash and measure it so that you've got enough to make 2 feathers or 2 layers per card. All right, so your first layer, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this one in half because then I can cut it together at the same time. Have a little bit sticking out the bottom and just gently, oopsie, trace a feather shape. Alrighty. So once you've got that, we can then hold both together and you are cutting them both at the same time. Alrighty, so looking like that. Now you've got 2. First thing we're going to do is you're going to take red tape. Please use red tape for this because it does hold your sticks down a lot better. And apply this to the bottom feather. All right. Before you stick down your stick, what I want you to do is just take one of your dark brown inks and you are going to just color the nib of your toothpick. You want it to look like a pen that's been dipped in ink. Alrighty, that then is going to go on top of your feather. You then are going to use another piece of red tape on top of that one. Flatten it nice and neatly. Alrighty, we are then going to remove the red tape, if I can just get it off. There we go. And you're going to put your second layer is going to go on top of that one. Alrighty. Once you've done that, you are going to take your fingers and just lightly, okay, do this while it lies flat. Okay, like that. You're going to flatten the seam in the middle. All right, then you're going to take very sharp scissors. So I need scissors with a very, very fine edge. And you are going to feather your feather. All right, so just all the way down the edge. And you can then fluff it out. What this does is it gives you a nice feathery feather. One layer is, I find, is not nearly enough to give you a pretty enough feather. Alrighty, there we go. So there it is, your feathered feather. You are then going to just take some ink again, just ink the edges, just to make it look a little bit darker. I've already taken the liberty of making an extra one to save some time. And then what we are going to do is we are just going to use our gauze, just our normal medical gauze that we normally do. And you're going to place that into the middle of your card. You can then either use a hot glue gun or you can use Tombow. And you are going to place your feathers at angles down the middle of the card, like so. Okay, if you can see there. And last but not least, you're going to go through your stash of all your little words, and you can just cut out a small word. We don't want one that's too big. I'm actually going to do that one sideways. And you are going to adhere that to your card. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use stickles. Remember I told you we don't have to have white or blue or whatever color we're working with. I'm just, for this one, I'm using, this is pink, okay, just to add a little bit of color and a little bit of sparkle to my feathers. Okay, this is still a bit wet, but when it dries, you'll see on the other one, it is, if you can have a look, I hope it shows you, you can check it's all sparkly. Alrighty, so there is your card for the week. Nice, quick and easy, not too messy. I hope you have fun with it, and I hope you've learned how to make a cute little feather. Remember, if you make bigger feathers for scrapbook pages, just use a Sasati stick, but always double up. It does make a big difference on your feathers. All right, ladies, remember, do not post your cards on here. Post them under the Facebook post on Scrap and Sell under card 19. And I cannot wait to see what you do. Thank you so much. Bye.